The University of London Computer Centre, or ULCC, is one of the oldest IT companies in the world. It was set up over 40 years ago by the government.
It was a funded organisation to provide supercomputing to primarily HE institutions. It carried on doing that through various generations of supercomputers, some of the big water-cooled beasts from the old days. And in the mid-80s, the funding started to dry up, and ULCC had to find alternative ways of generating income.
The ULCC's first step into the commercial world was provided by a contract to supply operational management for the network connecting the UK's higher education institutions. Today, they provide a whole raft of services, which include hosting equipment, managing networks, and web development.
Those services became more typically commercial. We now host a virtual learning environment for over 80 institutions across the UK, and each one of those is a separate contract. We have something approaching 50 contracts for web hosting and web development services.
The flexible dynamic and technical expertise which the ULCC has used to develop this innovative range of services has ensured its hugely successful transformation to a fully self-funded organisation. Central to its growth has always been its significant experience in harnessing and developing new technology for the education sector that it was conceived to serve.
The culture of learning has shifted somewhat from the sort of traditional classroom-based learning to learning that can take place anytime and anywhere. And now we see over 90% of all learning providers in London region alone, if not the UK, will use virtual learning environments.
The ULCC's virtual learning environments, or VLEs, are adding real value to the many academic institutions that use them.
We recently had an Ofsted inspection and we got a very good result, and the VLE featured very highly in all the reports because it was very well used and very well received by all staff and students. All staff love using it because they can basically upload all the resources and deliver the courses online directly through the virtual learning environment.
Harnessing such e-learning technology and personalising it for the needs of the individual is now central to government policy on education, and the ULCC is central in the application and development of that technology.
We are innovative, in terms of how we approach an idea. So we've taken the harnessing technology and the personalisation agenda, and we've actually sat down and thought about how we can provide colleges and the educational sectors a concrete sort of framework which they can just simply adopt. It meant that virtual learning environments were no longer just enough to support e-learning or personalisation at least. Other elements were needed to bolt onto that. We're seeing in the UK an explosion of interest in e-portfolios.
The development of e-portfolios, a personal and transportable portfolio of a student's work, is just one of the ways that the ULCC is innovatively adapting and developing open source software, which is available for free on the web. Originally used mainly by further education colleges, many other organisations are now following the ULCC's lead in seeing open source as the technology of the future.
The universities have just suddenly become much more interested in open source, and of course University of London Computer Centre is a centre of excellence and expertise for open source systems, and so we're getting a lot more business from universities. Our expertise, if you like, is being sought by all sectors, commercial, NHS and all sectors.
The ULCC's ability to transfer its expertise from the education to the public and private sectors has been central to its success in all areas of its business, including the provision of hosting services. Capitalising on its direct link to the academic world's internet network, the ULCC continues to provide hosting services cheaply and easily to educational institutions. And this income has allowed them to invest heavily in their state-of-the-art hosting suite, which is now drawing an increasing number of commercial clients.
We have a large data centre at Stuart House. It's air conditioned, it's got all the flood detection, it's got monitoring systems, it has dual power feeds, we've got dual UPSs, and we've got a standby generator that's just been installed. The data centre now has been running for nearly 3 years, and we haven't had any downtime to any of our customers during that period.
Being part of the University of London means the ULCC is a not-for-profit organisation, which in itself gives them a competitive advantage.
There's a number of reasons why I think customers come into us. One is because we are not-for-profit, so our pricing is extremely attractive. Secondly is that we are very, very flexible on the service that we offer. And what we concentrate on is making sure that the service we provide, meets our customers' expectations.
The Linnean Society is using the ULCC to provide hosting services and to develop their website so that they can show their huge collection of biological samples to the world.
They provided us with the best quote, really, the best price. And they put tools on there as well so that you can interrogate the images and you can zoom in and you can measure bits and pieces on them. The quality of the images on there are absolutely astounding. They just make it easy, which is how it should be really in business.
The University of London Computer Centre is now a thriving commercial entity, which has proven its ability to adapt and innovate since the very inception of information technology.